like talking about this, like responding to cops made me want to ask, like, you must be very familiar with the sovereign citizen people who are like, I am a boat and you cannot impede my naval traversing of this great naval empire.
I still do not understand how they say they're not a person.
Is that just a section of YouTube videos where I've been had in its little skit?
No, these people are very real. And you know, a lot of cops perceive them as extremely dangerous. And the problem with it, and I hate siding with the state on something like that, but they really are. I mean, they can be quite dangerous because they do not recognize any authority over them. I mean, they say that they live under the Articles of Confederation because the Constitution wasn't properly ratified at the time or something like that. So they're free citizens who live under the Articles. They're just travelers on the land. They're never driving, right? They're always just navigating their land boat or something.
These people rock.
You should have a more
balls.
Car.
And the I'm not a person, or like the separation of the person and their corporate entity comes from this weird idea that so birth certificates tend to be printed in all caps for the names. And so they say that is actually a corporate person that's created as a legal fiction in the United States, and that's how the United States has jurisdiction over the citizenry is through its corporate personhood. So they just deny their corporate personhood. That's not me. My name doesn't come in all caps. I don't recognize that name at all. So therefore, you don't have authority over me. They'll keep saying this as they're getting handcuffed, as they're going before a judge, and as they're being locked away in prison. Like they will swear to God that the U.S. has no jurisdiction.
I am the individual known as Kyle, not the person Kyle. Or they'll say some nonsense gobbledygook like that. And the judge is like, well, I'm locking up the person, the individual, the Holy Ghost, and everything else of Kyle. You're going to jail, sir.
And if you would you could go ahead and write a letter to the corporation from jail and get them to trade places with you, and that would be just fine.
Yeah.
You know, but that's a real thing. And the most recent, like really prominent instance of that was Daryl Brooks, the Waukesha parade driver who ran over the like kid and the old ladies and stuff like that. Yeah. He was a brand of sovereign citizen that made some of those arguments in court. I mean, the entire premise of his defense was, where is the plaintiff? The plaintiff in the case he was alleging should be the state of Wisconsin, but the state of Wisconsin isn't a person that can show up. And to him, all lawsuits required two people, rather than having a representative agent of the state, which would be the district attorney who was prosecuting him the whole time. So he was making those arguments and trying to do the sovereign citizen thing on national television after killing 6 people. It didn't work well for him, though.
I wouldn't imagine.
So that's my question. Why does has it ever worked well for anyone?
There's like,
that'd be interesting.
The way it has worked is always has nothing to do with the sovereign citizen aspect of it. So like the way it'll work is they'll say, you don't have jurisdiction over me. And it turns out that they're being tried in the wrong district of federal court, or they're in a state court where it should be a federal charge or something. And so like these little procedural victories that have happened throughout the years get used as bolstering evidence that if you just say the right magic words and incantations, that the judge will have to realize that they're wrong and drop the case against you.
Yeah.
But it's never practically worked, right? With like we're talking where there's a real crime, felony level, and someone's like, no, you just don't have the authority over me. The plaintiff isn't present. And you can't present him. The judge's like, you know what? Shoot, I never thought of that. I guess
some of that like Harry Potter magic, like and because of this, I'm awarding you freedom. Like
you'll be his butler.
For bravely defying the laws of consent, I award Hufflepuff 50 points. Like,
Police Activity is one of the best YouTube channels out there, and I watched one the other day. One of these sovereign citizens was getting pulled over, and he had a rap sheet, like something was going on. Maybe he was on a suspended license or no insurance. It was like multiple things. It's like, hey, you're coming with us kind of situation, or at least you're not going any further, and you're coming out of the car. And he's like, nope, I'm a fucking sea captain. I'm the admiral of the 5th Fleet of fucking horse shit. And I'm
you needn't to board to get to me, mate.
And so he fucking set sail up I-9 and they got his ass and beat the shit out of him. They smash his windows, pit maneuver, whatever, and drag him out of the fucking car. And it's like, all right, Admiral, you're going in, matey. And it just never works. But they seem so adamant about it that I can only imagine that maybe in some little town somewhere they spoke fast enough and talked about the 5th Fleet enough that somebody was like, man, I'm not taking you to the jail. You're going to be more trouble than you're worth, and just let them continue sailing down the road.
Yeah,
like it must have worked sometime.
They have the confidence of the Black Israelites, who are out there just like not a shred of doubt. They're like, I am the Jew and you are not. And they're like, not a shred of doubt. They know in their minds, they know that they're, I guess, both sides of the Egyptian Jewish slave thing. Like, I don't know. I don't know how that part works.
We enslaved ourselves. That was power.
Yeah. It was a mishap.
Those pyramids were made by skilled laborers who were paid.
How do you know that? Huh?
He was there.
Because no. There's like records of like what their meals were.